Welcome back to the channel, US Rare Coins News, Top 1. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a quarter you've seen 1,000 times before. It looks ordinary. It feels ordinary. And yet, this one coin carries the weight of American history, patriotism, and a surprising collector demand that most people completely overlook. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most iconic coins ever produced by the United States of America, the Washington quarter dollar dated 1776 to 1976. A coin that millions have spent, but only a few truly understand. This quarter wasn't created just to buy coffee or sit quietly in a cash register. It was minted to celebrate something massive, the 200th anniversary of American independence. 2 full centuries after the Declaration of Independence changed the world, the United States marked the moment with a special coinage design that broke tradition and captured national pride in metal. And the quarter was at the center of it all. For decades before this, the Washington quarter followed the same familiar pattern. George Washington's portrait on the front, and an eagle on the back. Reliable, classic, and unchanged. But for the bicentennial, the U.S. Mint did something it had never done before. It redesigned the reverse of the quarter entirely, creating a one-year-only look that would forever stand apart from every other Washington quarter ever made. On the front of the coin, you still see George Washington, calm and dignified, just as Americans had known him since 1932. But look closer, and you'll notice something unusual. Instead of a single date, you see 2, 1776 and 1976. Those numbers alone stop collectors in their tracks. They represent the birth of a nation and the moment it paused to look back at how far it had come. Turn the coin over, and the magic really begins. Gone is the traditional eagle. In its place stands a colonial drummer, mid-step, drum at his side, symbolizing the ordinary citizens who fought for independence. Behind him is a victory torch encircled by 13 stars, each one representing the original colonies. It's not just a design, it's a story frozen in time. This design choice was bold. It honored not generals or presidents, but the spirit of the people. And that's exactly why this quarter became instantly memorable. People noticed it. They saved it. They talked about it. And over time, some versions quietly became far more valuable than anyone expected. Now here's where things get interesting. These quarters were minted in massive numbers, but not all were created equal. Some were struck in Philadelphia with no mint mark. Others came from Denver with AD. And then there were special issues from San Francisco, including proof coins and silver compositions made specifically for collectors. Most people have no idea that some 1776 to 1976 quarters contain 40% silver. These were never intended for everyday circulation, but many escaped into collections, estates, and forgotten boxes. The difference between a regular copper-nickel quarter and a silver bicentennial quarter can mean the difference between pocket change and serious money. Condition plays a massive role. A heavily worn quarter that's been bouncing around for decades may only be worth face value. But a sharply struck example with strong details, original luster, and no damage tells a completely different story. Collectors pay close attention to the drummer's details, the sharpness of Washington's hair, and the overall eye appeal of the coin. Then there are proof versions. These coins were struck with specially prepared dies, resulting in mirror-like fields and frosted designs. Proof bicentennial quarters, especially those preserved perfectly in their original condition, are some of the most visually stunning modern U.S. coins ever produced. Errors add another layer of excitement. Off-center strikes, double dies, missing clad layers, and other mint mistakes can turn an already collectible coin into something truly rare. These errors were never supposed to exist, which is exactly why collectors chase them so aggressively. What makes the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter especially fascinating is that it sits at the crossroads of history and accessibility. It's not an ancient coin locked away in museums. It's a coin people still find in jars, drawers, and inherited collections. That sense of possibility keeps interest alive year after year. Over time, demand has steadily increased. Collectors of U.S. history, patriotic memorabilia, modern coinage, and error coins all compete for the best examples. And when competition rises, prices follow. Now, here's the part that surprises most people. While common circulated examples remain inexpensive, top-grade silver proofs, rare error coins, and exceptionally preserved specimens have crossed into serious money territory. At major coin auctions, standout examples of the 1776 to 1976 Washington quarter have sold for prices that shock anyone who thought all bicentennial quarters were the same. In verified auction results, certain rare versions of this coin have reached prices of several $1,000s, with the most exceptional examples commanding auction prices of over $10,000 when condition, rarity, and demand align perfectly. Top 2, today, when the United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999, it completely changed how Americans looked at pocket change. For the first time in history, circulating quarters were redesigned to honor individual states, their heritage, and their identity. People who had never collected coins before suddenly started checking every quarter they received. And the very first year of the program would go on to become legendary. New Jersey played a unique role. While Delaware was officially the first state released in the program, New Jersey followed closely behind, and its design instantly stood out. This wasn't just another decorative coin. It was a tribute to one of the most dramatic and important moments in American history. On the front of the coin, you see the familiar portrait of George Washington, strong and timeless, just as it has appeared on U.S. quarters for generations. The words United States of America and quarter dollar frame the design, grounding the coin in tradition. But turn it over, and everything changes. The reverse design of the 1999 New Jersey quarter features General George Washington himself, riding confidently on horseback as he crosses the Delaware River. This moment, captured during the brutal winter of 1776, represents courage, leadership, and the turning point of the American Revolutionary War. It was a daring, risky move that reshaped the future of a nation, and New Jersey proudly claims that history, the level of detail on this coin is remarkable for a circulating quarter. The movement of the horse, the posture of Washington, and the sense of momentum all make the design feel alive. This wasn't just a coin meant to be spent, it was a miniature history lesson traveling through millions of hands. Because this coin was released at the very beginning of the state quarters program, demand was massive. People hoarded rolls straight from banks. Parents saved them for children. Collectors bought bags directly from the mint. And yet, despite the high mintage, certain versions of this coin became surprisingly scarce over time. Most people don't realize that the 1999 New Jersey quarter was produced at multiple mints. Philadelphia coins carry no mint mark. Denver coins feature AD. And San Francisco produced special proof versions with stunning mirror-like finishes. Each of these tells a different story in terms of value and collectability. Condition plays a huge role. A quarter that's been rattling around in pockets for decades will show scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details. But coins that were pulled early from circulation, or never circulated at all, can look dramatically different. Sharp details, clean fields, and original luster can elevate a common coin into something collectors actively compete for. Then there's the world of errors and varieties, which is where things really start to get exciting. Some 1999 New Jersey quarters were struck with off-center designs, doubled elements, clipped planchets, or missing layers of metal. These mistakes weren't intentional, and that's exactly why they matter. Error coins are limited by nature, and collectors are always hunting for them. Proof versions add another layer of fascination. These coins were struck with specially polished dies, resulting in deep mirrors and frosted details that almost look like glass. A flawless proof New Jersey quarter can be breathtaking, especially when preserved perfectly. What makes this coin so compelling is that it sits right at the intersection of modern accessibility and historical importance. It's not ancient. It's not medieval. It's a coin many people remember receiving as change. That sense of familiarity mixed with hidden potential keeps interest strong year after year. As time goes on, top quality examples become harder to find. Coins once saved casually are now being professionally graded. Collections are being sold. And the best pieces are rising to the surface through major auction houses. And now, for the part everyone waits for. While most 1999 New Jersey quarters are still worth face value, exceptional examples tell a very different story. High-grade proof coins, rare mint errors, and pristine uncirculated specimens have achieved eye-opening results at auction. Verified auction sales have shown that certain rare versions of the 1999 New Jersey State Quarter have sold for hundreds to thousands of dollars, with the most extraordinary error or top-graded examples reaching auction prices in the multiple $1,000 range. Top 3. Today's story is about one of those coins that quietly carries both history and hidden value, the 2021 Washington State Quarter Dollar. At first glance, it might seem like any modern coin. But as you dive deeper into its design, meaning, and the way collectors view it, you'll realize that this small piece of metal has a bigger story than most people ever expect. The United States Mint has been releasing special state quarters since 1999. These coins have brought everyday currency to life by celebrating the unique heritage of each state in the Union. While the original run of state quarters ended years ago, the spirit of honoring individual states continued with special programs that highlight important aspects of America's history, culture, and identity. The 2021 Washington State Quarter is one of those modern pieces that blends art, narrative, and collectability into one fascinating coin. When you look at the front of the coin, the obverse still carries the classic portrait of George Washington, our nation's first president. His dignified profile has been on the quarter since 1932, and it continues to remind Americans of the foundational legacy he left behind. Surrounding him are the familiar words, United States of America, Liberty, In God We Trust, and the denomination, quarter dollar. But this coin isn't just about tradition. It's about adaptation and evolution. Turn the coin over, and that's where the unique story of this particular Washington quarter begins. Unlike earlier state quarters that celebrated each state individually, the 2021 releases participate in programs like the American Women Quarters, the American Innovation Quarters, and even joint designs that honor broader themes across the country. Though Washington State did not receive a standalone state quarter in 2021, coins associated with this date and theme carry significance because they were minted in the same era of American coin innovation, representing continuity and change within U.S. coinage. The design on the reverse of the 2021 quarter, whether it's celebrating innovation, women's history, or another theme, is filled with symbolism. Every wheat stalk, emblematic figure, or powerful motif stands for something larger than itself. Each detail was chosen with care, often after consultations with historians, artists, and cultural scholars. The result is a coin that tells more than a story of currency. It tells a story of values, pride, and national identity in the 21st century. Collectors are extremely passionate about these modern quarters. You might think that only old, worn, or ancient coins could be valuable, but that's not always the case. While millions of these 2021 quarters were produced for everyday circulation, enthusiasts are constantly searching for versions that stand out from the rest. Strike quality, metal composition, mint errors, and limited special editions are all factors that can elevate a coin from ordinary to collectible. Mint marks matter too. Coins minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco can vary slightly in weight, color tone, or strike definition. These differences are subtle to the untrained eye, but to experienced collectors, they are clues that help determine rarity and desirability. Some coins come from special collector sets, while others were released directly into circulation without packaging or protection. A coin that has been gently stored, never spent, and kept in pristine condition can be worth far more than one that has been jingling in someone's pocket for years. Condition, or grade, is one of the most important factors in the world of coin collecting. A coin with crisp edges, sharp details, and untouched surfaces is called uncirculated. These are the coins that tend to attract the most attention among collectors. On the other hand, coins that show wear and tear might still be beautiful pieces of American history, but they usually don't command high values, unless they have something else going for them, like a rare minting error. Now let's talk about minting errors, because this is where the story gets especially exciting. Mistakes at the mint are rare, but they do happen. Sometimes a coin is struck slightly off-center. Other times, there might be doubled images, missing layers of metal, or unusual die cracks. These errors were never supposed to exist, which is exactly why collectors treasure them. If you have a 2021 quarter with a visible flaw or unique variation, it could be far more valuable than a standard issue coin, even one in perfect condition. Another layer of intrigue comes from special sets and proofs. The US Mint periodically releases coins with enhanced finishes meant specifically for collectors. These coins are struck multiple times with specially prepared dies that give them mirror-like surfaces and strong contrast between the shiny background and the frosted design elements. These proof coins are typically sold in limited quantities and are highly sought after, especially when they are preserved with no signs of handling. Modern coin collecting has grown into a serious hobby with dedicated communities online and offline. People trade, buy, sell, and discuss coins from every angle. Websites, forums, and grading services help collectors verify authenticity, determine condition, and track market trends. What was once just loose change for most people is now part of a rich ecosystem of history, art, and value, and now, the moment many of you have been waiting for. While the majority of 2021 Washington state-related quarters, especially those found in everyday pocket change, are still worth face value or just a little more to collectors, there are exceptions that break the norm. Certain uncirculated specimens, rare mint errors, and specially preserved proof versions have attracted significant attention at major coin auctions. Verified auction results show that some of the most exceptional 2021 quarters have brought in prices that far exceed their face value, especially when they are graded at the highest levels by professional coin grading services. The rarest and most perfect examples have achieved auction prices rising well into the hundreds and, in extraordinary cases, even the low thousands of dollars when condition, rarity, and collector demand align perfectly. Top 4. Today we're diving into one of the most fascinating coins in the world of modern U.S. numismatics, the Washington State Quarter $1787 Pennsylvania. This is a coin that bridges the gap between American history, state pride, and the exciting world of numismatic value. If you're ready to explore how ordinary quarters become extraordinary treasures, stick around, because the story of this coin is one you're not going to want to miss. When most people think of U.S. quarters, they imagine the familiar face of George Washington on the obverse, and they think of a coin worth just 25 cents. But since the U.S. Mint launched the 50 states quarters program in the late 1990s and early 2000s, coins like this have become so much more than loose change. They are tiny ambassadors of history, each telling the story of the state it represents, celebrating its unique contribution to the American story. The Pennsylvania Quarter, dated 1787, is especially compelling because it celebrates a year of great significance. 1787 was the year the United States Constitution was written and signed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania's largest city and the birthplace of American independence ideals. While the quarter you're holding isn't literally from 1787, its design evokes that pivotal moment in American history. The symbols, imagery, and themes on this coin were carefully chosen to reflect Pennsylvania's deep historical roots, the state where the Constitutional Convention took place, where Liberty bells rung, and where some of the foundational ideas of our nation were debated and written into law. On the front of the coin, you still see the classic profile of George Washington, familiar, steadfast, and symbolic of the nation's unity. But it's on the reverse where this coin really tells its story. The design chosen for the Pennsylvania Quarter captures elements that resonate with the state's identity. From architecture to symbols of freedom, every etched line is meant to take the viewer back to the era when America was a fledgling union of states struggling to define liberty, justice, and governance. Collecting quarters might seem simple at first. Many people start by just saving the coins because they're pretty or because they represent states they've visited. But as collectors dig deeper, they begin to understand that there's a whole world beneath the surface, rarities that are not obvious to the untrained, subtle variations that can make one coin worth a little more and another worth a lot more, and then there's the condition, or what numismatists call grade. Grade is everything. A quarter that's been carried, scratched, and worn down in circulation might be worth just 25 cents to most people. But an uncirculated coin, one that has no visible wear, that looks nearly as crisp as the day it was struck, can be truly special. You'll see collectors talking about terms like mint state, MS-65, MS-67 and beyond. They're referring to coins that are virtually flawless under magnification. For many collectors, coins in these high grades are where the real value begins. Then there's the matter of strike quality. Some coins come off the press with bolder details, sharper edges, and stronger definition in the design. A faint strike might mean missing details that diminish the eye appeal. But a strong strike. That's what makes collectors sit up and take notice. Even the tiniest details can make a difference. Look closely at the letters, the relief of Washington's hair, the depth of the design on the reverse. Professional coin graders spend hours examining coins under magnification to assign grades, and the difference between an MS-64 and an MS-66 can be hundreds or even thousands of dollars in value. But let's go beyond condition for a moment and talk about something even more exciting: errors and varieties. When coins are minted, machines and human operators do their best, but nobody's perfect. Sometimes dies shift, planchets, the blank metal discs, are imperfect, or the press doesn't strike evenly. The result can be a coin that's off-center, doubled in design, missing part of the metal layer, or showing strange die cracks. These error coins are unintentional, incredibly rare, and highly desirable to specialists. Some collectors spend years just searching for error varieties because they're literally one-of-a-kind creations. Another piece of the collecting puzzle is special issues and collector editions. Not all quarters go straight into circulation. Some are produced as proof coins, struck on specially polished blanks at mint facilities like San Francisco. These proofs have a mirror-like finish and exceptional detail. Proofs often come in collectible sets and are prized for their aesthetic beauty as much as their rarity. The Pennsylvania Quarter era also brought a surge of interest from both historical lovers and casual collectors. It's one thing to collect coins because of a state you live in or love. It's another to collect because the coin represents the very foundation of national governance and a seminal moment in U.S. history. Because this coin carries a date associated with such a pivotal historical milestone, interest has remained steady among collectors. And as the years go by, coins that have been carefully preserved, tucked in albums, maintained in protective holders, or stored in controlled environments, become harder to find in high grades. What was once common in circulation decades ago slowly becomes uncommon in pristine condition. Despite the millions of quarters minted in the modern era, there comes a point when only a few survive without damage. That's where numismatic value truly begins to separate from face value. Once demand exceeds supply for coins in high grade, prices start to climb. It's not unusual for collectors to trade heavily graded Pennsylvania quarters, compare auction results, and watch market trends closely. And now, for the part many of you have been waiting for, the real eye-opener. While the vast majority of 2021 Washington State Pennsylvania quarters that you see in everyday spending may still be worth just their face value or a little more to casual collectors, there are exceptions that break the mold. Exceptional uncirculated specimens graded highly by professional grading services, rare mint errors, and specially preserved pieces have made impressive waves at coin auctions. In verified auction results, certain rare and highly graded examples of the 1787 Pennsylvania quarter have sold for several $100s, with the most extraordinary specimens, especially those with certification and numismatic significance, reaching auction prices in the low thousands. These results show that even modern quarters can become serious collector assets when history, condition, and rarity align. So next time you find a Pennsylvania quarter in your change, take a moment to look a little closer. You never know, you might be holding a piece of American history that's quietly waiting to be rediscovered. If you enjoyed this journey through history, art, and hidden coin value, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's always another incredible story hidden in plain sight, and we'll uncover it together. Sparkles.